What's going on, good people? Um, the other day, I made a video about um, basically these jobs not caring about you. About the young lady at the TGI Fridays. Um, and I don't know why this story didn't come to mind then, but um, yeah, these jobs don't appreciate you, man. Um, you know, they tell you if you're gonna quit, put in 2 weeks notice. No, because if you get fired, they're not putting in a 2 weeks notice. So, and the name of the company I was working for was Cubic Transportation, and they did the breeze cars for MARTA, but not just here in Atlanta. They did Chicago, Vancouver, New York, here in Atlanta, um, and they were picking up Boston, I think, and San Francisco. That's the fifth one. So, starting out, they put you on the easiest one, which is MARTA. And basically, you're just monitoring the machines, making sure the breeze machines work. The station manager call you, you send a tech to them. I was dispatching the techs to fix the machines. Um, so you come in, you learn MARTA because it's the easiest, and then you learn Chicago and Vancouver and San Francisco. San Francisco is the hardest. New York is also the easiest because it was just data entry. They would send us the stuff and we just enter it in the computer. So, but I had worked there. Um, I started in October. So one of the perks of the job was at the end of the month, if your birthday was within that month, at the end of the month, um, they take you to dinner. So, the buildup had been building up. Like I said, I started in October, so I missed my birthday. So in the midst of that, me learning and being proficient in all of them, I started being the guy that they would ask questions. Do you think we should do this? Can we do that? Can we do that? You know, about a month before I left, our supervisor said she was stepping down. She was just it was a lot of stuff. It was a lot of craziness going on. So she just was like, I don't want to deal. We had this one lady who she was on overnight shift. She wouldn't come to work like she was supposed to. She called herself in a mental hospital one time. She called from the mental hospital to call out. I'm like, okay, she tripping. Um, and they didn't fire her. I don't know why, but when she calls out, I had to call the supervisor, and the supervisor had her computer at home, and she had to wake up and log on. You know, so um, the manager came in. She had a meeting with us, and she was like, "I want y'all to put in for supervisor." So everybody that was in the office was like, "I'm not putting in for it." The young lady who had been there the longest, we automatically thought she was gonna put in for it. I mean, it was just a natural progression. Like, you trained all of us. Why would you not be the supervisor? Like, I never understood her way of thinking. Like, she just wanted to be where she was. I mean, she knew everything. She had been there longer than a supervisor. She had trained a supervisor. So I didn't understand why she didn't want to do it. But anyway, I digress. I so everybody was like, I'm not putting in for it. And they was like, Tommy, you should put in for it. Okay. So I put in for it. Um, I confirmed with the manager that she got, my application, me putting in for the supervisor position. She said, yeah, I got it. I'm like, okay, cool. About a week before I left, it was on a Monday, and it was a new random guy that they had brought in, and they told us he was going to be the new supervisor. Now, I'm sitting there like, dang, I didn't even get an interview. No nothing. No explanation. No, hey, just act like, you know, you was going to give it to me, give it to somebody else. I would have felt better. But she came in and she wanted me to train him. And I declined. I was like, nah, I can't train him. I said, you need to get somebody else. I'm not going to do it. That's not my job. My job is to dispatch these calls for Chicago and Vancouver. And that's it. That's all I'm doing. As a matter of fact, I was just on Chicago. I wasn't even doing Vancouver. I was just doing Chicago. And so, the guy, he was leaving for the day. She wanted me to train the next day. Like, no. So she called me in the office and she was like, "Why you not gonna train him?" I was like, "Well, first of all, I put in for it for the supervisor position. Yeah, I didn't even get an interview. I was like, I didn't even get a no. We going another direction. No, nothing. I didn't get nothing. No, you know, like dog. I feel like I deserved something. I said, even if you wasn't going to interview me, I feel like you should have came to me and said, hey, I know you put in for the supervisor, but we, going in a different direction. I said, I didn't get none of that. But then you bring him in and expect me to train him. So I went back and started doing my work. Went to lunch. Where the building is off of Armour Drive, so it's a gas station right across the street. So I walked across the street, got me some chips to drink, some candy, something, I don't know, just something to go with my lunch. And so on my way back, I got a phone call. I answered it, and the guy was a waste company, and he wanted to, and because I had waste um, dispatcher on my thing, so on Indeed. So he wanted to see if I can do an interview. He asked me how much I was making. I told him. He said I can beat that by $5. I said you got your interview. So I went to the interview. Aced the interview, got the job, but they wanted me to start immediately. I was like, well, I need to get them a 2 weeks notice. It was like, we need you now, and this was the week of the dinner. So I'm like, what I'm gonna do? I said, okay, just okay. So the dinner was that Friday. They wanted me to start Monday. I was off Wednesday, Thursday. So Friday, I went to the dinner and then went to work and then went home. Never came back. But what I did was at the dinner, I said, since y'all don't want to give me a supervisor interview, who's in Longhorn? I can order what I want. Let me get the tomahawk. Add a lobster tail to it. Let me get the mac and cheese. Add a lobster tail to that. Let me get the bang bang shrimp. That was my appetizer. Um, and then to go, I got a key lime pie. I ate one there, and I took one with me. Gone. My bill alone was almost 200. Went to work that Friday. As I was leaving, sent them an email. Told them I wasn't coming back. I quit. And and I say that to say like these jobs don't care about you. So why should you care about them? Get what you can get and get on up out of there. And now at the job, because a couple other people did the same thing, they call it pulling the Tommy. So uh, if you ever hear that term, you probably won't, but that's where it comes from. Pulling the Tommy. So I'll let y'all.